Okay, the recording has started. Yep, I would like to start. There's a note of thanks to Shubham. Okay, thank you, Shubham, for taking out time and exploring a new topic like RAG and AI in MuleSoft. Yep, I think it's not been covered in any of the MuleSoft meetups so far. Yep, so thank you for coming up with this interesting topic. Okay, and over to you, Shubham. Please go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Vikas, and thanks, community, for the opportunity. So, yeah, let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, yes, yes. We are able to see.
Yeah, sure. So, hey, hello everyone. Very good evening, good morning,
You
based on.
can move to the presenter mode, maybe. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Fine. All good. Thank you.
Okay. So hey, hello everyone. Good morning, good evening, based on different time zones. So today I'm going to present on a topic called RAG, basically retrieval augmented generation, and what it is about and how we can implement it with MuleSoft. Right. So that is the topic for today. Uh, right, coming to our moderator Vikas.
Yep. Hi everyone. So I am the moderator for this meetup. So I'm a MuleSoft ambassador and a MuleSoft meetup leader for Mohali and Chandigarh group. Okay, and I have around 14 years of experience in integration domain across various integration products like IBM Sterling Integrator, TIPCO, and MuleSoft. I am working as currently as a technology architect in Infosys. Okay, and I love sharing my knowledge on MuleSoft. So I have my own channel, your integration buddy. The link you can see on the screen. Okay, I have shared tutorials on MuleSoft. So if you get some time, do go through it. Okay, and we can always connect on LinkedIn as well. Okay, yep. Thank you, Shubham. Please move ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Vikas. Yeah, so coming to myself, a little bit of introduction about myself. So I'm Shubham Bajpayee. I work as a technical consultant in Salesforce. So I have around 6.5 years of experience with relative of 5 years in MuleSoft, and the remaining in Selenium and Java, right? And I started my journey with Cognizant, and then after that switched to API Zero, and then followed by Salesforce. So I'm a techie enthusiast, and recently given this opportunity, right, I got exposure to AI and different terminologies related to it. So yeah, just wanted to speak up and share my opinion and my research on it. So yeah, that's about myself. um, yeah, so coming to the agenda for today, right? So it's very short. I would not say a very lengthy discussion about it, but more precise discussion rather, I would say. So that agenda is what is retrieval augmented generation and why it matters, right? Deep dive on its architecture, how we can leverage AI and integration, to create smarter APIs. Uh, what is the implementation flow in MuleSoft, followed by a demo, and what are the real world use cases, for RAG, and at the end we can take the Q&A session as well, right? So that's the agenda for today. So yeah, first I would like to welcome you all. So we are excited to excited to have you join us on this insightful session on retrieval augmented generation, right? And yeah, let's explore and let's dive in on right into it, right? So yeah, so coming to what is retrieval augmented generation, right? So basically it's an AI framework, right, which will enhance the output of your LLMs by grounding them with the data sources, with the knowledge stores, right? So in simple terms, we are training LLM on our own data, on the accurate knowledge store, right, we have, so that it results, the responses are more accurate and up to date, and they are relevant responses, right? So that is the base definition of retrieval augmented generation. And I have put up a small diagram, right, using which I can state the various steps about it, right? So coming to the retrieval, right? If you see, retrieval is basically when a user gives a prompt or a query, right, to an LLM, right? And based on our knowledge store, right, where we are storing our internal or external data sources, right, like maybe documents, databases, or we can have a role URL to search for, right, which will using which the retrieval will happen to get the relevant information. Okay, so user based on the user query, we will retrieve it from our data sources, right? So that is retrieval. Second is augmentation. Like when we get the relevant information using the retrieval step, we will combine that using the original query to generate an enriched prompt, right? And which will be sent to LLM, right? The augmented prompt will be sent to LLM, which will generate a response back. So that is the three steps involved basically in RAG primary, primarily three steps, right? That's what the diagram also picturizes it. Yeah.
So basically, we generally use it like when we are querying the data from the external sources, right?
Yeah.
So the data which is not like present in LLM,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
You see that like the LLM is trained up to a particular date.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
suppose like it is trained up to like last year, like 31st Jan December 2024. Okay, and after that, like suppose a prime minister or the president of the country has changed, and you're querying that data, right? But that data is not present in that LLM. So you have to query the external resources, basically some external link that you will give. Okay, from there data will be retrieved and that will be shared with LLM, and the proper response will be generated.
Yes.
That is how it works, right?
Yes. Right. Exactly.
I
So
think Charan has one more question. Yeah, yeah, Charan, please go ahead.
yeah.
See, it's been a while that I've joined any meetups. Suddenly,
Mhm.
I've seen it and I felt very interesting. But
Okay.
uh, I'm just making sure I'm asking the right question. Have you conducted any session related to Gen AI or LLMs prior to this session, or else this is the first session?
So for me, this is the first session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then my doubt makes a lot of sense. So RAG is a part of Gen AI, right?
Hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Uh, if you are straight away telling me RAG and the components of it, I don't know where I'm going to use it. Can you give me a brief introduction exactly where we are going to implement this RAG so that it makes sense
Sure.
for my visualization of whatever you are telling here?
Mhm. Yeah. So to visualize it, right, I can give you an example, right? So I believe RAG will be mostly used in your whenever you have data for your enterprise level. Okay. So one of the example I can give here is, let's say you have your internal database of your company, of your organization, right? And you want your own chatbot or LLM to ground on that data, right, and give responses pertaining to that. Okay, so that is what I believe RAG will come into the picture, right? And
Yes.
also traditional LLMs and Gen AI are trained on static data, right? Let's say, as Vikas mentioned, right, it can be trained till 31st Jan 2025, right? But after that, let's say you are using it now, right? And when you are using it now, right, let's say you gave a query, but LLM is giving you a response according to the data set which was valid till 31st Jan, right? Now, either it will do a web crawl to get your data, right? But how you will verify or trust the source of the data, right? When that thing comes into the picture, then we will have to go for RAG, I believe.
I'm asking precisely the interface
Mhm.
where you are going to use this RAG architecture. Is there any interface like happy faces, hugging faces? Something is there in ChatGPT? Is there where we are going to use this RAG?
RAG can be basically you will store your data sources in a vector database, or if you have an in-memory database, right? And you will use that to basically fetch the results accordingly, right? It can work with any of the
So you
AI.
can use the embedding models, right?
Yeah,
Embedding models are
correct.
there,
Yeah,
correct? Yep.
yeah,
It will be used in the embedding models. Embedding models will go and query the vector databases, and then it will send out
correct.
that information to the LLM to have the response sent out back to the user.
Yeah, and that we will cover in the next slides also. So
Ah,
just
Oh, okay, no problem. Thank you. Okay, so
basically,
it is vector basis where we are going to
correct.
keep this
Yeah,
all these things.
vector
Oh, this
database,
is
not a
yeah.
SQL database, but a
Okay.
vector database.
vector database.
Let me just give you one more example. Shubham, just one second more. Okay, like as Shubham told, right? Majority of use cases would be based on the enterprise level data. Okay, suppose like a person has newly joined an organization. Okay, and they need like the onboarding tutorials, like how what are the things they have to do when they're onboarded. Okay, so people may have scattered information across the organization. Some of them are stored in database, some are there in some files. Okay, so what we can do, you can just embed all that information into a vector database. Okay, and people can just query, okay, what I have to do first day of my job. Okay, some what are the formalities I need to perform. So just query that, and it will go ahead and perform the search using RAG into that vector database using embedding model, send out the data to LLM, and have the response ready for you. That's it. That is how it can be used. And hope it's clear, right, Charan?
Yeah, it's clear. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You can
Yeah,
go
Shubham,
further.
let's
Yeah,
go ahead.
sure. Okay.
I think Dimitri is also a question. Yeah, Dimitri.
Mhm.
Yeah, not a more no question, rather like a more another way to define RAG, right? In my mind, the RAG can be used quite good in what we call a chatbot, right?
Mhm.
Or a chat agent. Is that correct?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
So then let's say you're in Booking.com and you just pull up the agent, the chat agent, let's say, and let's say you want to book the best hotel, and without doing it, without having to do a search and a filter and clicking buttons and stuff, you can say, hey, I want to find a cheap hotel, no more than 50 euros a day in that period, in that time. Do you have anything? And the agent can say, oh, sure. Do you want a big hotel, small hotel? Do you want small rooms? Do you want villas or whatever? And then because all these data come from the database, right, from the Booking.com engine, so then you say, okay, I just want a villa with a pool, for 4 people and 3 kids or whatever, and then the system gives you like the options, and then you can say, okay, can you book this up, and also can you book a taxi for me on arrival and things like that, right? So this is where RAG comes into focus. Is that correct, guys? What do you think?
Yep, yep. I think yep to query your enterprise level data because that data won't be available in the LLM, right? It's specific to a particular enterprise. That's correct. So that's where the RAG would come into picture. That's correct. Fine.
Yep, great, thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yep, Shubham, let's move forward.
Yep. So, why do you want we want to go for RAG, right? Like, what are the challenges we will face with traditional LLMs, so that we have to go for RAG, right? So, I've listed down a few, right? One of the first one is hallucination, right? So, LLMs can make up facts, right, and provide some incorrect information because their knowledge is limited to their training data, right? And in one of the examples, this was the example quoted is, let's say, a lawyer, there is a lawyer firm, they are searching for a, they are making a case verdict, a document or something, and they are citing a case which does not exist, which LLM had recommended them, but it doesn't exist, right? So that is one of the primary example of hallucination, right? Second is outdated information, like as stated, right? The knowledge is limited to their training data, and that data is static, right? So they might give you an outdated information, right? Lack of specificity, like this is the major point, I believe, because LLMs don't have the internal enterprise data knowledge or the domain specific knowledge through which they can give you data related to that, right? And that example may be about a company proprietary software features, or as Vikas was telling about a use case where anyone has joined a new company and they want to get to know about the policies, right? But that if you give that prompt to generic LLMs, you cannot trust that, because that LLM doesn't have the knowledge base about your internal enterprise data, right? Then there is a cost of retraining involved. So let's say if you don't want to go for RAG and you want to use traditional LLMs, then you need to retrain them with your data, right? Then that again involves a cost and time, right? And there is a lack of grounding. Like without RAG, it's very difficult to verify the source, right? So that is few of the reasons which you might go for RAG, and that's the reason I think enterprise level use cases fits the best for this. um, right. So going ahead, let's discuss the architecture of RAG, right? I have put up a small diagram, right, to showcase about different stages of RAG, right? So I will try to explain this in two parts, right? If you see the point number 3, right, this entire thing as a separate part, and this thing as a separate part. The reason for that is, let's say when we are talking about knowledge bases, right, we have knowledge sources, right? We have structured data, unstructured data of our enterprise or internal, right, data. Now we will use that to generate embeddings, and that embeddings will be stored in a vector store or an embedding store, right? It can be in memory, or it can be in any of the vector databases like PG Vector or Chroma, right? So this is how you will update your vector store here, right? And now let's come back to the original flow, right? How I will talk to end, right? How it will work. So user will send a prompt, right? Prompt will have the user's query, right? Based on that, it now in the second step it will search for the relevant information from the embedding or vector store, right? Now based on this, it will generate another prompt, right, with the relevant information obtained from the point number 2, right, from the embedding store, right? And this will be an augmented prompt which will be given to LLM, and LLM will be sending a response back to user, right? Now using this, you are fetching the data relevant to your vector store, right, which is matching with the query, right, and sending the response back to user. Now the biggest advantage of this is, let's say tomorrow, right, I have to add another document, or I have to add another folders of document, right? I just go and update my embedding, create an embedding, add it to vector store, that's it. Next time the user will query it, it will anyway fetch the vector store, so you don't need to touch the left flow. You only need to update your embeddings and embedding store, right? So and again, like LLM models can be anyone, you can choose to interact with. But yeah, this is an overall architecture at a glance. Yeah. Right. And coming to few of the core components, right, of that. So I will just go through this. It's the same which I have explained in previous. So we will have like a knowledge base, right? We can have structured, unstructured data sources, right? We can involve vector databases to query them and store them. If when you query them, it will use semantic search, to get that relevant entries. Embedding model, you can convert your, basically embeddings are text into numerical representations, right? And that will be stored in a vector database in form of embedding. So embeddings are nothing but numerical representations of your text, basically, and in vector form. Okay. Retrieval component is the first one, where it will receive the query, and query based on the user requirement, it will query the database to find the relevant documents, right? And augmentation component, coming to this, is the one when you have retrieved the information, you will generate an enriched prompt and send it to LLM, and LLM will send the response back, right? So these are
Yep.
the
Shubham, we have a question like people are asking about the differences between object store and vector database, which you are saying.
uh, difference between, I think, it how it is stores, right? So how embeddings are created. Like I haven't I don't know the mathematical aspect of it, but I just know like when embeddings are created, they are created in a form of vector coordinates, and those coordinates are indexed and stored in that form, right? And it also have embedding ID, and so the source of the file using which it has created that embedding, which will help in the search, and in the end give you the file path, the source of the file from which it's giving the information. So that is what basically an embedding is. And when coming to an object store, I think it might encrypts the data, but it's not, I don't think so it's creating an embedding in a vector form. So
Yeah,
that
it's a key value pair basically. Object
they're
store,
kind
right?
of,
Is
yeah,
a
when
more relevant term to the
yeah,
MuleSoft. Okay.
correct.
Yep, and it's a key value pair. And as Shubham told, like these embeddings are stored in the vector database in the form of mathematical
Yes,
form. Okay, so you may be wondering like why we are using mathematical form. Okay, the thing is that you can perform a semantic search on vector database.
correct.
Okay, so semantic search means like, okay, if you are searching a performing a search, right? And in the database you have like uploaded a document which says that how to restart your laptop. Okay, but in the search you are saying that how do I reboot my laptop.
Mm.
Okay, by semantic search it will be like matching. Okay, reboot means restart only, so it will fetch up the the document basically. That is why the data is stored in the vector database, so that semantic search can be performed. The meaning of the search will be understood and then will be searched from database. It's not like that. Not case to case matching. It's not like that. It's okay, I'm searching for how to restart document, and it won't do a like to like match. It will understand the meaning. What does restart means? It means a reboot also. It will fetch the document which states that how to reboot a system or reboot a computer. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Sabrwal, if you have any question, you can yep, speak up. Okay. I think Charan has a question. Yeah, Charan, please go ahead.
Can you go to the previous slide once?
Yeah,
Here, exactly where RAG comes into the picture. Is that the third step, embedding vector
it's
store?
the second and third step. Yeah.
Okay, second and third step. Okay.
Yeah, I think then let's go ahead. Yeah. So coming to the next part, right? So I just wanted to explore how we can leverage AI and integration layer, to create smarter use cases, smarter APIs. And in this case, I'm preferring MuleSoft as an integration tool to connect with AI, right? And few of the things I've mentioned here, like why I have chosen MuleSoft for this demo, is basically MuleSoft offers mostly these three things I have written for my use case, like data aggregation, right? So when it comes to AI, right, data is utmost priority, and data should be grounded and data should be correct in order to your LLM, or or if you're integrating with your enterprise. So for that the response should be trusted. So that for that we need data to be grounded and correct. So in that case, right, we can, using MuleSoft, we can connect to any data source, be it on on-premises, SaaS, legacy systems, right? Using extensive connector libraries, right? We can take data from almost any data source, right? Any CRM, any AWS, Google Cloud Storage. It has a lot of flexibility, right? Secondly, we can for data transformation, as we all are aware, right? Data weave is a very powerful transformation language, right? Using which we can enrich and format data accordingly so that LLM can consume it, right? Third point is about orchestration of AI services. This is the point I mostly liked about MuleSoft, is we can call many external LLMs. It's not only specific to OpenAI or anything. You can call OpenAI, Gemini, right? Claude, you can Minstrel AI, and a lot more. And also like apart from LLMs, you can also connect to different vector databases as well. So you can connect to Chrome, Chroma, PG Vector, for example, right, and many more, right? And coming to the connectors, few of the connectors, right, which I thought might be useful for these kinds of operations is one of the connector I thought is Mac Vectors connector, right? This is basically, this will help you to ingest, query your data from vector databases or ingest into the vector databases, right? Mule AI chain connector, right, which will basically simplify your interaction with various LLMs, and REG operations, right, creating an embedding, query an embedding, or loading a document, right, those kinds of steps, right? Uh, so yeah. Uh, yeah, and this is one of the diagram I portrayed, which will, which basically shows like MuleSoft AI chain, what it does, where it can interact with different systems, it can connect with different LLMs and vector stores, right? And it can offer different functionalities listed here. And it has different connectors and templates which you can, reuse them while building an API or building an asset, right? So yeah. Yeah. So now I'll be telling a little bit about implementation flow in MuleSoft. What I have, written points. What I'll be showing in demo in the next few minutes. Right. So how we are implementing it is I have created a basic UI which has a chat functionality, and using which whenever I send a query, type a query or a prompt, it will interact with my MuleSoft API, right? So that's what application, or a user will send a query to the MuleSoft API. MuleSoft API gateway will receive the request, right? Then comes a data retrieval flow, right? In my case, I have not used any external call to get the data, but it can be used that way as well. So you can do any external calls to get the data from CRM or any ERP, or you have any file system to get that relevant data. You can process that data, convert into embeddings, right, using embedding connector, right? And then embeddings can be stored or queried in a vector database connector. Also you can use in memory as well, if you want, right? Then coming to context augmentation, so this is where we will use data weave to basically, add the retrieved information to your original query to create an enriched prompt to be sent to LLM. And LLM interaction, where we will interact with different LLMs, right? In my case, I've taken up OpenAI, right? And LLM will send back a grounded response, and MuleSoft will send this response back to the application. So this is the implementation flow.
If we have a question, Shubham.
Yeah.
So Sai is asking like we have a lot of open source LLM models, right? So what is the advantage of using MuleSoft with RAG architecture?
Mm-hmm.
So if
So
you can go to the chat window, you can just see it.
mhm. Yeah. Right. So I would, come back to the previous slide where I was, explaining like we can interact with any, LLMs, right? When it comes to MuleSoft, it has so much extensive connectors and operations, right? And it's a low code platform, right? You don't have to write a script or write a class, right, to connect to any LLM, right? And basically it gives us so much flexibility. I'll show in demo as well, based on different operations and configurations, right, through which it becomes very easy to connect with different systems, right, rather to because since it is a low code design, right? So that's the reason I went for MuleSoft.
Yep, Shubham. Thank you. Let's move forward.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a small demo to show, right? And then after the demo, I'll just show some of the use cases, real world use cases which can be implemented, right? So let's just dive into the demo directly, right? So coming to the demo, right? So there are two aspects. First is I have created a UI where I can, as I informed, right, where I can chat. Basically, it's a chat window, right? And let's say I send a query, right? Like for example, the use case is about I have a data set where I have uh, different MuleSoft connectors information stored in text files, right? So I have around 300 text files with different MuleSoft connectors description available in that file. Along with the file, along with the description, I also have the connector name and their anypoint exchange URL present in that file, right? So I have used it as a data set, right? For this demo, I will show you that data set as well. So I have this data set. So if you open this one, for example, if you see this, this is a Ziora connector. Like I've just opened anyone, and apart, along with the connector name and connector URL, there is a description about what that connector does, basically, right? And you can also check the let's say let's open EDI connector, right? So we have connector name, URL, and description. So this is the format in which we have a data set, and it contains a lot of connectors information, right? Which we are using for this demo. This connector, this database will be used to create embeddings, and these embeddings will be stored in an embedding store. Okay, so this is the little background about the data. Okay, and using this data, what we'll do is we will create embeddings, store it in embedding store, and whenever we send a query using our UI, right? This we send a prompt or a query. This will interact with our MuleSoft application, fetch the data from our embedding store related to our query, and you will see the response back from the embedding store in this format, right? And we have used a template instructing the AI, to send our responses in this format, right? So this is what is the output for this query, right? Let's say I have given a query like I need to perform file operations on cloud, right? And based on that, it has given me three connectors because I have used the max results as three, which I'll show you. And based on that, I'll get the output something like that, like what is the connector name, what is the URL. Even if you want to go here, you can. It will go. You could go to your this one, right? And the dataset contains Mule 3 and Mule 4. Hence, it shows this one, and list of operations it can do, and why this fits, right? Why we can use this connector. So this is the overall input and output, right? Coming to the back end, right? This is a little interesting. So I would request everyone to have a eye here, right? So I'm using Mule AI chain connector. Okay. Now there are three flows here basically. First is used to create a in-memory store. So it will create a in-memory embedding store. Okay. So I've given my app name and the store name based on the payload. So I'm using let's say I give this store name, I give a hit, it will go ahead and create a vector store in my local. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, now this flow, this will add document to your store. Now what I will do is when I will use this operation, I'll pass the store name which I've just created using the above operation, and in the context path, I will give the path of my folder. I'll give this path of till the data, okay, and I'll give that path, and I'll specify the segment size and basically the overlap size. Now, what is the segment size? Is it will maximum allowed of size? It will because in the continuous sequence of characters. So it will split your documents in 1500 characters batches and upload it in the store. So that's what this property is about. And also you can select the file type. So you can if you're sure, like I was sure about the file type, it was text. If you're not sure, you can use any, and even if you want to give a URL, you can give that as well, right? So this is how this operation is configured, and once you run this, right, the embeddings will be created for your entire data set and will be stored into the store, right? And if you want to see that, I can show you as that as well. So I guess some of the question, right? The question was asked earlier related to how the object store and embeddings are different, right? I guess this will give you a lot of better mathematical answer. So if you see, right, this file might hang because there are a lot of content in it. But yeah, if you see the format of this file is, we have entries, we have an ID, we have an embedding, and in embedding we have a vector, and these are all the the text converted to numeric form is stored in vector, right? And if I scroll down a little bit more, you can see what has been embedded, right? Earlier object key name was embedding, now it has changed, now this is embedded, right? Now it will show you the each value generated for your text, right? So this is how it is being stored. And coming down, you will see an index, right? In the metadata tag, you will see index, you will see the directory path, right, and the file name. So coming back to the question, like to what I said earlier, right? When you use reg, it will give you the source of the file which has been used to verify, right? That's how it will give you, because it stores that in the metadata when it converts into embedding. Okay, so this is how that file will look when you add that folder to the store. Okay, right? So these were the initial operations which you have to do to set up. Now coming to the third one, this is this is where the main thing lies, right? So when I send up the query from here, it will come to this, right? And I'm using an operation where here what I'm doing is I'm refining my prompt. So I'm again interacting with LLM, and I'm telling it to refine my prompt, right, based on this instruction, right? I want to refine the prompt in such a way so that it makes the intent more precise and aligned with what is related to MuleSoft, right? So basically, it will provide a clear version of what is the requirement in respect to MuleSoft, what is required, right? And this is a memory one. So when you will, there are two operations here. One is chat answer and chat answer with memory. When you use chat answer with memory, it will retain the context history of your chats. Okay, so basically what does that mean is, if I, let's say, if I have given here need to perform file operations on cloud, in the next statement I again write the same, right? I need the operations for the same, I don't specify like for what operation I want. It will refer to, it will still refer to the file because it has that memory saved here. Okay, and how it is saved, it is the memory name, and it saves that memory in the local path itself. And there are next messages which it will use to analyze that memory. So it will use the last four messages, right, to store basically in that. So this is the prompt, right, which I'm sending, which will modify my query based on requirement. After that, we will search our embedding store, right? So here I've given the store name which we have created earlier. Along with that, I have given the prompt, right? The prompt we sent earlier, which is after restructuring it, I've given that, right? And there are a few other parameters like how many results I want, what should be the min score. So min score will basically if the min score specify the similarity score, and when this operation runs, you can I will show you that in the attributes you can actually see like the results and the score, how much score they are matching with the actual data, right, with the query basically. So that is the score which is used in the similarity search, right? And there is also option of get latest. What it will do is it will always freshly fetch the file from the location, right? So let's say if you have a file which is ever changing, right, and you want to take every time the freshly fetched file, then you can set it to true, but that is not generally advisable because it will keep in memory, right? So yeah, and once you have the embedded query, right, you get the results from embedding store. I have a template, right? I'm giving an agent, I'm giving the AI instructions, right? Instructions along with the data I have obtained from my vector store. And this instructions, right, I can show you. These are very straightforward instructions. So basically, I'm just giving AI a prompt through which it will answer in this format, right? So I've just given basic instruction like you are an assistant that suggests mule connectors, how you will handle a task, right? If user asks for a connector, analyze the need, search for the known connector, right? For each connector, search for available operations. If you find them, list them, otherwise leave it blank, right? For each suggestion, provide your fields in this output. So when you see my output here, this, right, connector name, URL list, why, that aligns with the instructions you have given, right? So that is what, I've just given an instruction like how to respond and what to respond, right, in case in this operation, which is a template. Basically I'm giving the AI, the LLM, a data set, right, along with the template and the prompt, using which it will give me back the response using the template, right, and my data obtained from the embedding store, and we'll get the final response. So basically that is the flow, end-to-end flow. Now I'll just show you in debug mode. The reason is I just wanted to show some attributes, right? So let me run the same query, let's say. So as of now, I'm using local, right? Now see, if you see, right, this prompt, right, this has been modified a little, so so as to give the requirement clearly. So I need detailed instructions on how to perform file operations using MuleSoft with a specific cloud storage, right? Please include steps for configuring the connector as well as best practice and everything, right? And now when I'm using the query, right, after query, now when the query operation has happened, right, it will give me, now let me just export this, the, you know, yeah. Oh, this is a little interesting. Okay. Now see, in the response, you will get the sources from which it has generated the response. This is the query operation from our embedding store and the response. So this response is basically what are the connectors it is giving based on semantic search, the suggestions it is giving, and then from which sources it is taking that suggestions from, and what is the individual score, which is the similarity score, right? So it gives you the source as well from where it is taking the response, right? So that's the reason I wanted to show this. And it shows the tech file name, the individuality score, what is the text segment taken from there, and then it gives the final response. Okay. So yeah, and then if I just run it, it will send back the response to the UI, right? So yeah, might take some time. Yeah.
Shubham, in the meantime, you have a question in the chat if you can take.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I guess that was it for the demo perspective, right? Just wanted to show the attributes. Okay, let me go to the chat. Converts data into vector embeddings. If yes, does it allow to choose embedding model also? Yes. So basically, when you use Mule AI chain, right? Mule AI chain doesn't give you an when if you use it operation. These are mostly to in memory operations, right? Even if you hover over it, right, this will create an in memory one. But let's say if you want to create connect with the external vector databases, then you go for vectors connector. Here you will get that option to choose three things. First is which embedding model to use. You can use any. Let's say you want to use a embedding model of OpenAI, right? But you want to use the PG vector as the database, you can do that. Okay. So that is entirely possible, right? uh, yeah. And one more thing, I hope that answered the question. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Shubham.
Yeah, and one more thing I just wanted to mention, I missed in the earlier, right? So whenever we interact with whenever we use any operation, right, for example, uh, we when you use the this one, right, not the embedding one, sorry, please don't hang. Yeah. So whenever you use any operation involved, where we are interacting with LLM, and we use the configuration, right? So when we set up this configuration, right, I missed this, how we can set up this. Just wanted to elaborate little on this one. So Mule AI chain connector gives you a flexibility to connect with all these list of AIs, LLMs, right? Then it can give you two kind of configuration mechanisms. Either you can use a JSON file and use, or you can use environment variables. Okay, if you use environment variables, you need to give that value via runtime when you pass it. Okay, or if you use the JSON file, you can place it in your location or in your SRC main resources folder, and it will take the file from there. Okay, then you can select any model name based on your LLM type, right? Temperature values, right? Which basically indicates the randomness, how much randomness you want in your output, right? The timeout values and how much max token you want to use, right? So this is what the configuration will look like. And coming to the JSON file here, if you see, right, these keys are fixed. Okay, meaning if you see, I've just given this configuration file path, but I haven't specified any particular key to be used, right? So when you define which model you are using, which LLM you are using, it will take the key, it will take the value from the reserved key. Basically keys are reserved, right? So it will take its value and accordingly use it. Sorry, I'm just showcasing that. But yeah, so that
Yeah. Yep.
that's it.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yep. Yep. Thank you,
Yeah,
Shubham.
so that is from the demo part. I still have few more slides to go through, so I'll just cover that quickly in the context of time, and then we can take that questions.
Sure, sure. Samendra is asking like, is there any memory limit for data out the file?
Memory limit like as in memory.
Yeah, I think I can just Samendra, if you can unmute yourself, we can and explain the question, please.
Okay.
Yes, in memory is talking about, correct.
I haven't, checked that out. Maybe I'll get back to you on that. But I think there should be some memory limit when it's it's storing in memory. Yeah,
Yep, sure.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So just coming to the last few slides, right? Sorry, it took some time in demo. Just wanted to showcase
Yep,
that.
yep, no worries. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go
So,
ahead.
few of the use cases I've thought about, right? Let's say, like as Vikas also mentioned at the starting, right? One of the use case we can have on this is to have an enterprise knowledge assistant, right? Let's say there is a new joiner onboarded. Now he has to go through bunch of documents, right, to find even a small thing. Let's say the thing can be related to any tax structure, any or something related to any perks of the company which it offers, right? So we have to, like as an employee, you have to go through different documents to even find. And even I don't think so it's relevant for a new joiner. Only thing in an experienced joiner happens is they know where to find it, but again they have to search it, right? So that is the thing. Like now imagine you have a solution where there is a chat bot in your in your company, or an where you are using your internal documentation. Like maybe you have all the documents listed in your Confluence, SharePoint related, the policies, right, everything. And you store it in a vector store or in an embedding form, and then your chatbot just responds using that to the employee, so that it becomes. And also it gives you the sources as I showed you. So even if someone wants to, after getting the response, wants to go to the particular site to see what are different, like where it's coming from, and download it for future purposes, that can also be done, right? So it will definitely boost that productivity and self-service support, right? So one of the other use cases where I thought of it can be used is the financial services compliance, right? So let's imagine a bank, or any financial company, or any financial transactions, right? Those needs to go through a lot of compliance guidelines, right? Uh, Regulatory databases, right? Everything. So if you have a chatbot in your enterprise which is dealing with financial services, you train your LLM using your own internal regulatory database and compliance guidelines, right? Which will help to do the faster compliance checks, right? Which will help you to improve the risk mitigations, and provide and reduce a lot of manual effort. So right, and I'm sure we can have a lot of use cases, but when it comes to enterprise, the focus is on about your data, right? Because you cannot expose your data to the external LLMs or external places, right? So yeah. Yeah, coming to the last slide. So I just wanted to explain some benefits and challenges. So one of
Maybe you can, I think, stop sharing, I believe.
the is it?
Yep, I think just check it out once.
Okay, I'm not sure how it.
Yeah, yeah, no worries, no worries. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Coming to to this slide. So I just wanted to explain some benefits. So
Before that, there is one slide. If you even just show that also, maybe. Yeah.
oh yeah, sure. Let me show.
Yep.
So I guess we missed these two. So one
Yep.
of
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Just a quick overview.
This was the first use case. We talk about the enterprise knowledge assistant, right? And using RAG, right? And the second use case we talked about was the financial services compliance, right? Uh, so these two slides are missed. Sorry, I didn't check when I was not presenting. Yeah. Uh, yeah, and coming to this, like what are the benefits when we use RAG with MuleSoft, right? So first, we see, right, there is a unified integration and AI orchestration which MuleSoft offers, right? And flexibility to connect with many different LLMs and many different vector databases, right? You have a secured governed access to your data. It supports multi-channel use cases, right? You can have a chatbot, you can have API, you can have agent interacting with your with your asset, right? Again, this works with any vector DB or any LLM provider, and obviously low code design, right? And coming to challenges, when it comes to RAG, challenges mostly about your data, right? How you are securely retrieving data from your internal system, right? And if you are using a vector database, then you have to manage its strategies, right? Prompt engineering, like there has to be effective enriched prompt generated so that you get the desired outcome. And since RAG involves retrieval and generation, so there is a latency trade-off, which might happen. So yeah, those are the benefits and challenges I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so that comes to the end of it. So if anyone has any questions, opinions, suggestions, I'm happy to take it up.
Yep. I think we have one question. Like more on the structure of vector coordinates.
Structure of vector coordinates. Yeah, so I guess that's a very good mathematical question, which I'll have to come back to you. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Correct, correct. Maybe
because
like
mm,
we can do a just Google search on that.
yeah, yeah, I can do it. So, what are the
uh,
structure of
Structures of the vector coordinates. Yep.
vector coordinates? That is something a good question.
Yeah.
Uh,
X
I,
component, Y component, like that. Maybe you can pick this link over here. Like we can, so interested persons can go through that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think yep, it was a really great session, Shubham. Thank
Shubham,
you.
I didn't want to fill up the meetup. Just wanted to know whether you
Yeah,
are.
yeah, no worries, no worries. No, no, I have like no question is silly question. It's
Yeah,
good
exactly.
that you come up with that. It's
Uh,
okay.
would you mind explaining me unified integration? Did we achieve it in your POC? Exactly why you call it as unified integration?
Yeah, so I don't think so. It was entirely unified, because if it would have been unified, if I have a data source, I would be fetching it from somewhere, right? And then let's say if I have an enterprise, right? Let's say if I take Salesforce, I have a Salesforce subscription, right? Using Salesforce, I have MuleSoft, I have CRM, right? I have data, everything at one place. So I just have to use this, right? Use this POC as a reference, connect to my data cloud or any cloud system I have, use MuleSoft as a backend, right, to do and generate something which will be unified in my own enterprise. Right? So that was the context of it, I think.
Okay. In temperature, you randomly pick zero point 0.7, or else is there
Yeah, so basically,
any
I think that
inherent?
was no, that was a default value I picked, but I guess its value is 0 to 2. I think zero being the deterministic one, two being the highest random. So, but I use the default one.
Okay. The next field, something as P is there. I forgot the name. What is the
Yeah,
significance
so
of it?
yeah, that also I think that is something related to probability, but I need to go through and get back to you on that. Um, yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
And
but I,
in one of the challenges, you said giving prompt engineering is also a key challenge.
Mhm.
Are tokens consumption comes into the picture here?
yes, token consumption definitely comes into the picture. So every LLM interaction, has that token limitation. So when you are doing your advanced enrichment of your prompt, right, we need to make sure. See, the thing, like I used a template that can be referred to as a structure, right, an instruction to follow. Now we can design that template, right, the structure, the phrase of the template to be very short and precise, so that it uses less number of tokens when calling LLM, right? So and also, like, we also need to make sure what the user prompt is sending. Like, let's say there has to be a limitation in your app. When the user sends a query, it can send any number of characters. You cannot, just go ahead and forward it to LLM. It will use a lot of tokens. So there has to be some governance applied at that initial level as well. So yeah.
All I see is here you are directly connecting by providing the URL, but we have fine tuned any RAG in the POC. So little time I do understand. Is there something we have to do behind the screens to fine tune or else develop this RAG method that fits our needs?
Yeah, so I guess so there are a lot of things which I still have to explore on this. So I used in memory,
Yeah.
right? So that is a major thing. So in memory generally takes a more time when it comes to retrieval, right? And the in memory embeddings are also something which the operation itself is offering, right? But when it comes to external vectors, right, when let's say you have a PG vector which is an open source or chroma, right, you can try it out, right? I'm sure it will have a lot of faster responses time, and it can store more embeddings. So I guess to go for that will definitely fine tune, but yeah, I haven't had the time to fine tune it. You're right on that.
Thank you, Shubham. That's it from my side.
Yep. Thank you so much, Shubham. It was really great and informative session, and I think yeah, a lot of discussion taking place on it also. Like audience really like this session. Yep, and really good to have like-minded minds. So yeah, discussing all these things. Yep, like-minded persons discussing this new things AI, RAG, yeah, and how do we use it in MuleSoft. So yeah, it was. Thank you so it was a great session, Shubham.
Yeah,
And yep, thank you so much. And I think we can wind up if we have no more questions. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
everyone, and thank you and also to community for your support. And we saw a really good participation over the weekday. Yeah, that's really awesome.
For joining.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Shubham. Thank you, everyone. Bye, bye, guys.
Bye bye, guys.
Thank you, Kas.